Hey guys, my name is Mark from JazzGuitarLessons.net. Welcome to this video on how to perform jazz standards at a jam session, or how to play on jazz standards, which is let's just say it's one of the building blocks of learning by different phases, and this would be phase 5 if you've been following this series on this playlist link or here. The point is to learn to play on standards. What you want to do is build different things such as proper voicings and being able to play in time, and then a chord melody, then approaching chord tones in a way that I described in the previous video, which I called making the changes. So in this jam session, ultimately what you want to think about is your role as a jazz guitarist. And you can fill, let's just say 3 seats for starters. And it's important to really segment them and approach standards so you can perform each of them individually. And then in this phase, what I like to do is confront my students with the finalized product. Namely with an approach I will call the 4CE, all right? So, interestingly, the 3 different seats that you want to fill is, number 1, being able to play the melody. Almost like your lead, like your saxophone. We're going to take Autumn Leaves again, and you want to be able to play the melody, right? And then down the line again, and then tone knob, sorry. Ah, that's better. Right, so you want to be able to play lead. That's your first seat. Then I sort of skimmed over an 8-bar, but you know, the full piece in good time. You want to be able to be the singer in the band, or the saxophone, the lead instrument, right? The second seat you want to occupy, and which is going to be the most important, you want to be able to comp. So anything and everything in the kitchen sink, everything you've learned ever since you played guitar is good for grabs for comping. So you want to be able to keep up with a steady pulse with a band where the chords go by and that the chord progression might be more complex or longer than other tunes you might have learned, such as if you're playing like pop or folk, chord progressions get pretty repetitive. Since typically you play the same chords. So for jazz, Autumn Leaves, say, has a 32-bar form. So it's important for you to keep up with that and, keep up with the Joneses and not be lost within the form, because someone is soloing and it would be pretty bad for the person taking the solo, for the accompanist, you, to get lost in the form and start playing the wrong chord. Either you're a bar ahead or you're a bar behind. People go, dude, what are you doing? And you don't want to be that guy. So one of the best ways to do that might be to use softwares or online backing tracks and to record yourself, to film yourself with just like an iPhone or something, or an iPad, and see how you do holding your own while you comp on the form. Playing the melody, it's pretty straightforward. It's the song, you can sing it. Playing the chords is where it's getting insidious, because you can get lost. And that's why when my students start to do too many crazy things like I go like, yeah, it's good, but what if we were to jam alone and 4 bars into that you just lost and you dropped a beat? Instead of 4/4, there's a bar that has 3 beats. I'm like, yeah, right? So never mind the materials and the complexity and creating like crazy syncopations. Never mind this. Just be sure that you're on par and you know where the groove is, right? Sounds simple. It is simple. Just when you, it's like running. Yeah, running a marathon. What do you do? One foot, the other foot. Pretty simple, right? Yeah. Go run a marathon now, right? That's the thing. So you have to make sure that you're able to do it. I use iReal Pro. One of the advice I will give you with iReal Pro, just don't look at the screen, put it on and then turn away and just do it on your own and make sure you're at the right place. If it starts to sound funny, probably is because it's funny. If something feels funny, it is, right? Like a physiotherapist told me, if it feels funny, because something's fishy. All right, so your first role is to play the melody. Second role is to be able to play comping. 80% of your time on a stage as a jazz guitarist at a jam session will be to comp for the others, because you can play chords. So don't be a shredder, or be a shredder if you want. I don't mind. The third step will be to learn to solo. So the best place to start, I described in phase 4, which is how to make the changes, which is to set up a target note for each chord. first target note to have in mind is really to have the third and then to fall into it. So make sure you're able to take a solo in which you don't get lost and in which you play notes that are appropriate to the chord. Don't necessarily have to learn a whole bunch of licks or resolutions and flat nines and crazy scales for each. Just being able to do what we did in phase 4, will be plenty to take a good solo. And now, what I told you earlier on, which is the 4CE, well, the recipe for success is really to create a track, either with iReel or Band in the Box, and say there are 4 choruses. And I do the 4 chorus exercise. So you do 4, you do the head in, so melody, you do some comping, you do the solo, you do the head out, you're done. Do not stop. Do not stop. Don't stop the backing track at any rate. Hopefully you can film yourself or have someone listen and just see if you can hang on. Truth bomb, if you can't hang on to that, chances are, most likely, you can't go out to a jam and try to stay on because everything will go wrong. Someone will spill a beer, someone yells, one of the lights goes out, the cute bartender has an eye on you, like you never know, right? So a lot of things can go wrong. So if you can't do it in a controlled environment, don't expect to do it when everything can go wrong, and they do. Because at jam sessions, people might be of different experience level. Maybe the drummer is going to be bad at keeping the beat. Maybe the bass player is going to be lost and you're not lost and go, dude, where are you? So you really have to keep your head up straight and to perform a micro controlled version of your jam session before you go out and actually play with other musicians. On that note, that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed. Please like and subscribe for more of these videos and check out the series on learning how to play standards through a replicable process, which in my case is in 7 stages. I will see you in the next video for step 6.